In Vajrayana Buddhism, there is a tradition of discovering sacred treasure teachings through visions. Khyentse Rinpoche, known as a great treasure revealer, taught many of his visionary teachings to his students around the world. As an author, whether he was on a flight or in his private chamber, he composed numerous poems, meditation texts, and commentaries. His writings fill 25 volumes in more than 10,000 pages. Throughout his life, Khyentse Rinpoche's singular focus was the path to freedom and how to communicate that to others. Khyentse Rinpoche's teaching and his life were one.
The Buddha explained very detailed the qualities of the gurus. So I found in him those the very good qualities. He great practitioner as well as great scholar, and particularly his basic the belief or basic attitude is the non-sectarian, which I very much appreciate.
From arriving as a refugee to becoming the spiritual advisor to the royal family of Bhutan and the teacher to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Khyentse Rinpoche's life saw many changes, yet his behavior always remained the same. From the influential disciple to the beggar outside the monastery, all of his students deeply felt they had a special place in his heart. In 1991, Khyentse Rinpoche was obliged to cancel a fourth trip to Tibet. He told one of his students,
"I still have much work to do, but this composite body of mine is not keeping up with me."
Instead, he chose to spend 3.5 months in retreat in Bhutan. During this retreat, Rinpoche asked his closest disciples to visit him. It was here, in his hermitage, that he gave them teachings and told them that if they had any questions, now would be a good time to ask.
When Khyentse Rinpoche was in silent retreat in the King of Bhutan's private residence, I went to see him. He put both his hands on my head and recited several prayers, including an aspiration for students and their teachers to never be apart from each other. Taking both his palms together, he broke his silence and said, "Now you can go." Normally, he would never break his silence, so I thought that maybe this is not a good sign. But there was nothing much I could say, so I requested him to have a long life. He said, "No problem." That was the last time we spoke.
After completing the retreat, Khyentse Rinpoche visited the site where his new house was being built. To a disciple, he jokingly said,
"An old man like me who is about to die is building a house to live in. Isn't it ironic?"
In 1991, Khyentse Rinpoche conducted the yearly prayer ceremony requested by the Queen Mother for the welfare of her country and for world peace. A few hours into the ceremony, Khyentse Rinpoche fell ill. On the final day of the prayer, at his disciples' urging, Khyentse Rinpoche was rushed to the hospital. In the early hours of the next day, Khyentse Rinpoche passed away.